All right, folks, we're rolling, and welcome back to the Outliers Project. I'm your host, Molly Hawkins, and today I'm in a conversation with the one, the only, the coolest Martina Brimmer, CEO and co-founder of Swift Industries, a cycling brand that has become a real cornerstone in not just the art of creating some badass performance bags, but because of what the brand really represents. Now, I wanted Martina on for a few reasons. One, she's built something unique and based around community, which I believe is something that we so desperately need right now. And two, she's done it as a woman in a dramatically male-dominated industry, and she talks about that directly in our interview. And three, she's lived the real arc of what I call business ownership. She's lived those chapters where it's fun and exciting and invigorating, and then of course those chapters where it's just fucking brutal. So let's get right into it. I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Martina. Let's do this. All right. Thank you for having me down here, Martina. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming through. It's awesome to have you in our amazing little home office.
Yeah, I'm very inspired already, and I'm ready to hop on a bike. I was kind of hoping you'd have like 2 stationary bikes set up for us to do the interview on. I almost brought my trainer with me.
It would have been brilliant.
Next one. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, next one.
Yeah.
For folks who don't know who Martina Brimmer is, can you tell me how you would describe her?
Okay, there's kind of like 2 directions we could go in. Like, the secret life of Martina Brimmer is like this insanely wholesome, introverted creative who just like loves taking quiet time. I'm happiest kind of in my daydream world. And that daydream world usually consists of like imagining creative pursuits of all different mediums. Like I kind of like dream, like I'm kind of like stuck in like a storyland of my own, which I think has become like a really big part of our company culture too. We can touch on that later, but I see stories everywhere, and I'm sure you do too. And so I think of all the fun ways that I can bring stories to life. So that's like me in my dream state. I love cooking. I love being with my friends. Love being with my dog. That's one side of Martina. And an equally important and genuine side of Martina is like this very community-oriented business owner here in Seattle, where I put like pretty different chops to work to get people out on bikes and design and produce like incredible outdoor gear.
I love how you answered that. Everybody answers it a little differently.
Yeah.
Because, oftentimes I find what we see on the outside is, a little different. So I love that you gave us both looks.
Yeah. And they really are both very, very important parts of me. Like there's not one that is more or less authentic.
Yeah. Humans, we are complex.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you for letting me in. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you've been at it with Swift for about 17, 18 years now. How do you feel about that?
I'm so fucking proud of that number. A little bewildered. Can I swear on this podcast? Is that like a thing?
Yeah.
I swear like a soul.
Me too.
A
Awesome.
Soldier?
A soldier? Soldiers probably swear.
A sailor. That's my whole... That breaks the wholesome side.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, no, me too.
Anyways.
I have a potty mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Well
Swear away. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get my podcast canceled.
No. Yeah, it's a trip. I think about... Well, so my nephew is about to turn 18. And I'm like, wow, like this kid was born and raised alongside my company. If I had a child, I would have a 17, 18-year-old right now. That's bananas to think about.
You have a child baby.
I have
a child baby.
A child business baby.
Business child baby. You have a business baby. Yeah, that's a business, yeah.
And like really high maintenance one at that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like your kid never moved out. You're like, you go to college.
Yeah, they moved back in with me. That's the stage that we're in right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're just like chatting here from the office at the home.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So your business baby is 18?
18.
and has moved back home.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're one part creative and you're one part entrepreneur. You have it. It's clearly in your blood, right? I think that's one of the things, I've listened to a lot of other business podcasts and I've talked to so many different entrepreneurs and it's interesting. I think I constantly am asking myself or the others, like, do you think you were born with it?
I was born with it. Yeah. Just even thinking back to like weird shit I would do as a kid. Like on Sunday mornings, one of my favorite things to do was like not open the door to my bedroom and just pour out all of the pennies in my jar and like stack them in tens and count how many pennies I had just to make sure like my accounting was in order. And then like at like 10 or something a.m., my mom would like knock on the door and be like, I know you've been up for forever. Are you counting your pennies again?
What was that all about? Where'd you learn that? Why? What were you counting them for? What were you trying to buy?
I definitely wasn't trying to buy anything. I just like loved knowing the sheer satisfaction of knowing my finances.
Oh, wow. Do you want to come do my bookkeeping? Oh my gosh.
No, I don't.
Wow.
Trippy, huh?
That
so
is
weird.
wild.
Yeah.
How were you studious in school?
In my own way, like I often felt really stupid as a kid. And like bookish academics and especially math and science were like, I actually think that I disassociated really hard with those two disciplines. So I always excelled, no surprise, in creatives and arts and language. But at the end of the day, I think up until high school especially, I just loved school. And like, even if I didn't excel at certain disciplines, like I loved being in that learning environment and I loved being with my peers and I adored my teachers. Like school was a really good experience for me. Also, like that did continue in through high school or into high school. I think I just got a lot more self-conscious about the things I wasn't as good at. And I think that's normal, right? And so just didn't invest in those things as much.
Interesting. Were you sporty? Were you riding bikes at that age?
No, I was not sporty. I was druggy.
Oh, fun. Oh, so I got away with hanging out with the skaters. And I think we started doing things and stuff around 14.
Yep.
But also I was in student body government and did yearbook. And
You're well-rounded.
I was too afraid of failing. And
Yes.
I was afraid of, like, I had that self-awareness at that age.
Yeah.
So I had to maintain appearances as well. So I
Totally.
we would have been friends.
Yeah, I think so. For sure. Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
In San Francisco.
Oh, whoa, fun.
Yeah. It was amazing.
In San Francisco proper?
Yeah, in the city proper.
Oh, wow. So you were causing all kinds of trouble.
All kinds of trouble. It was magnificent. I
So-
loved it so much.
Okay, so I'm curious. I don't know which question I should ask first, but I am curious when the bike bug bit you, but I guess the question I have lined up next is, how do you go from being a life skills educator at a Waldorf school to co-founder of one of the coolest counterculture brands that, I mean, I'm not just saying in Seattle, one of the coolest counterculture brands I've included in a lot of brand research that I've done for other clients and companies. Like, explain this one to us.
You did your homework. I'm really impressed, Molly. Digging up the dirt. Gosh, great question. I mean, okay, so I'm going to rewind time a little bit and take us back to about 2008 and maybe a little earlier, but oh my gosh, where do I even start? So I found myself teaching life skills at the Waldorf school here in Seattle. I went to a Waldorf school in San Francisco, so it was like a very natural fit.
Everything makes sense now.
Yeah, it all fucking clicks. It really does. And so again, like, you know, when I think about like how I was raised in loving school, actually like the Waldorf curriculum was like exactly right for my brain. Like exactly right. So anyways, ended up in this high school environment here teaching, and I loved it because I was both doing outdoor education and getting the kids out kind of like seasonally. And then in the middle of the school year had like this incredible curriculum that I was given a lot of creative bandwidth to create. That really was like the sex and drug education component for the high school. And that was essentially a part-time gig, and I knew how to sew, and I was really into bikes, and had this like side hobby business out of our basement, full circle. And I was just like dabbling in both. It was like really pretty utopian for me. I had this, was young, was super young. I started Swift when I was like 25 or something. So like got to go and have like this super interactive, very meaningful for me job with young people. And then also balance that like with a morning routine of sewing bags and working on my hobby business. And it was great. Those were incredible days. I'm not speaking to like how that all happened. Like there's like no like through line.
Well, how'd you get into bikes? I mean, was it just transportation for you? And then, you know, you started, I thought you were going to be like, I was a messenger in San Francisco.
I was not. I wish. Like that was like, you know, the dream. Totally. Yeah, I like, my car busted in early college. I was going to Humboldt State in Arcata, California.
Everything is making sense now. Sorry.
It's okay. I honor who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. And campus was like, you know, a mile and a half away from where I was living, and the co-op was really close, but like not close enough to walk. And I was like, I'll just pull out my bike from childhood and bring it up to school, and I'll pedal around with that. And it was so fun. And I think like a lot of things started to kind of click like in my peer group at that time, like, cannot overlook the fact that like, you know, a week after I started college was 9/11. And so then we moved into like the Iraqi war, and as happens on many college campuses, you know, we were like getting really political around the anti-war movement. And like, I just found that bikes slotted into a lot of my world views and my social scenes very naturally at that time. It was the early aughts, like bikes were like blowing up. There was like a real urban scene. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to bikes. It was like totally urban focused. I'm not the person who got into bikes as like, I don't know, a performance or athletic pursuit. It was just like really like tied to like punk rock music and tooling around and, you know, trying to have like, you know, a more responsible transportation, environmentally more responsible transportation mode and all of those things.
Wow. Gosh, you are so cool. I'm just imagining like you and a bike gang, like rolling around with your homemade.
We had a bike gang.
Did it have a name?
Yeah, fuck yeah, it did. Corvus Corax.
Sick.
Yeah, we all had denim jackets. I think I might still have it. I'll show you later.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
It's so cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, we were so cool.
Man, I made the mistake of trying to get into bikes. I mean, growing up as kids, we rode bikes around our small little rural town, but I didn't really, as an adult, get into bikes until I moved to Seattle, which as a kid who was like not conditioned to ride bikes, It didn't stick at first. It was really hard. Hills were
So hilly here.
and bodies of water and hills. But you were in No, oh wait, I guess it was where's Humboldt?
Yeah. In Northern California. So like that was like a little bit flatter and stuff. But then like, I took some time off. I like spent my summers in San Francisco, like the messenger scene and like the critical mass scene was just like blown up. It was like such an identity,
Oh man, yeah. I definitely when I kind of started to see the downtown Seattle, there was like a couple spots where the bike messengers would kind of rally, and I'd be like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So then when I got to Seattle, I actually applied for a job sewing messenger bags for this insane company called Reload Bags. Cool. They were up on Capitol Hill. There were about 6 or 7 of us who would sew like a custom made bag. So the customer could jump in, select their colors. We were like known for putting like sewing on really beautiful applique prints that were super complex and gorgeous. And it was like that company was like in the center of the fixie and urban messenger scene in Seattle. Like it was like just all around us. It was so fun.
Wow. So this is all coming together now. And so then you're at the Waldorf School and you are starting to do that for yourself, or were you just making bags for friends and then eventually they're like, let me give you money, and you're like, well, I can make a living at this maybe? Or
yeah, basically, I would stay after hours at Reload, and Reload came before the school job. So like I would stay after hours at Reload and kind of like mess with my own designs a little bit. And I was like pretty interested, like, for one, like Jason and I come from a real like outdoor recreation space, especially Jason. Like things like sorry. Things like backpacking and like kind of remote backcountry travel were like a really big part of certainly like his background, and I was getting roped into it by way of being partnered with him. And we just started thinking like, why aren't we using bikes to get out into more remote spaces and into wilder spaces and out of the city? And can we also stop carrying all this shit on our bodies? Because like a messenger bag has such a specific purpose, right? It's like for somebody who's got to like haul the thing all the way to the 11th floor, pull the package out, hand it over real fast, and go do it again, right? And it became like, ubiquitous. Almost everybody, messenger or not, had a messenger bag. Oh my God. Yeah, they were so cool, right? And also like, it was hard carrying all this weight on my body on a bike in a hilly city. And I was like, fuck it, let's make panniers cool again. Like, that just like didn't exist. They were so boring. They were so vanilla. Like, it just was not happening aesthetically for me. And so we just kind of took that on.
Wow, yeah. I remember when I got my first panniers, they were from Polar, the brand, quite a few years ago. But I remember feeling like, oh my God, this is really, am I a nerd? But functionality, there's a certain point where you're like, I need cargo space and I am riding my bike halfway across town and I can't show up with a sweaty back,
Totally.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. But because they were Polar brand, which is a cool brand, I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but
yeah, totally. And they worked with Specialized on that project.
Yeah.
I loved that project. That was a good one.
So I've really followed you since your early days through social media and kind of in a very stocky, non-creepy way, right?
Cool.
And I feel like we've traveled in these similar circles, and you have these deep ties in the bicycle community, and you have literally built community. And I think from the outside, not having been in the inner circle there, I feel like I've admired what you've built. You curated such a cool vibe from a brand standpoint, and I feel like you have brought something net new and special to a very tech bro boring industry. No shade whatsoever. It's just it had,
No shade on boring tech bro industry whatsoever.
No, I mean, there's something for everybody, but it was, I say that lovingly in that, because I could respect, like, bike culture historically has been very technical, right?
Correct.
And less, vibes and, creativity within that space was less of a thing. And, those were very bucketed, siloed worlds before. And I think brands like yours brought kind of some flavor to the space and some fun to the space. And I've talked about used you in a lot of brand, kind of examples for other folks, different industries of like, hey, this is, what you need to do for your brand, your industry. Obviously, what you guys are doing is yours, and you have your own personal flair to it, but a lot of brands just copy each other. Was there any fear along the way while you were building your brand, like this isn't going to work or this is not done? Do we need to do it this way? Another,
Yeah, wow, such great questions. So a secret about me is that if I love something, I have to share it. Like, it is like this absolute impulse that I have. If it's a recipe that I found that I love, I will text it to everybody. I'm
not taking you mushroom hunting.
Oh, yeah, no, you shouldn't. If you have any shit you need gate kept, I'm not your guy. I get so excited about stuff, and when I get excited, I have to share it. Like, I have to share the joy that's being experienced.
For those who don't know who or what Swift Industries is, can you please describe it for us?
Yeah, I think at face value, Swift Industries is a premium bicycle bag company. We have about 20 years of expertise behind us in designing tried and true bicycle gear. And we've stayed super focused on that. That has been our lane. People ask us for backpacks. They ask us for all kinds of other shit. And we're like, nope, we only make bags specifically that goes on bike. That's it. That's what we do. That's our focus. At this point, we're still such a tiny company in the grand scheme of things. And we've had such an epic journey in how we produce our products and where. That at this point, we are just laser focused on homing in on our best sellers, the bags that really just nailed every element of design and function. And that's what we focus on.
Okay. So for folks who don't know about garment construction or bag construction, I mean, how hard can it be? You talk about being this tiny brand in this massive space. I don't know what the annual revenues look like for the biking industry, let alone all of the bag and accessory brands. But I mean, you have an outsized footprint based on what you're doing and the impact that you're making. I'm just curious, what's it like to be the little guy, and what is the process like? And those are two very different questions, but
yeah. The first question, what's it like to be the little guy? I think that because we literally started in our basement making one bag at a time, we kind of wear this funny outfit of being, yes, the little guy. In the grand scheme of things, we are a tiny company, tiny. And also, compared to how we began, we have come so far, and we did it kind of all ourselves. I mean, every company does that, but bootstrapped, founder-owned, we did it ourselves. We scaled ourselves.
You've never taken any investment or...
We don't have investors on board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a lot of debt, but, COVID loans.
Oh my God, the PPP, they were great.
The EIDL loans.
Yeah, I should have taken more.
No, maybe you shouldn't
I know
have.
I didn't because
It's good that you didn't.
because I knew that there were a lot of people who really, really needed it. And but then when I started to see like McDonald's franchises taking IADL or whatever that was, I was like, okay, looking at the interest rates compared to other business loans you could get, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, we jumped. We just went for it. And it was a springboard for us to scale as a company. And I do not regret that. Yeah. I think like I had a lot to learn about managing big dollars. And I made some big mistakes. And that's how you learn, I guess. It was painful, though. Almost lost the company over it.
Yeah, I've back in 2017, I was probably at the highest, gross revenue I'd been before, and I had about 12 employees at that point. I think a couple of those might have been 1099s, but I was just on a razor thin margin, and just one event, one unfortunate situation caught up to me and bit me in the ass, and I had to draw down my team, and I had to choose whether I was going to actually stay in business and just get a day job, or if I was going to do the work and make some really hard choices.
Yeah. So I think that speaks actually really well to what it feels like to be the little guy. Like, I think that our scale and smaller is like, I often compare it to being like a tiny little rowboat out in open ocean. And like every single ripple is going to move that boat. Whereas a large company is more like a freightliner that is really built for open seas. And even if a big wave comes, it just doesn't move as much. We have a lot more agility. We can turn around in circles as fast as we want. As maddening as that can be sometimes. And so, like, I think that speaks to why small brands are often the culture generators and the ones on the leading edge of culture creation and new trend. But so exposed, so vulnerable. And we have been in that situation more times than I care to admit, that like 2 shitty sales weeks really have you just like have had me like awake at 3 a.m., sweating bullets, trying to figure out how to move my money and who to ask for better terms. Like, it is stressful. It is so stressful.
Did we talk about this? Have you ever listened to How I Built This?
My fave.
Oh my God. My favorite part of the episode is when the founder is lying on their kitchen floor in tears, calling their mom, asking for $30,000 in trade for a stake of the company.
Yeah.
And you're like, I feel you there. And,
Totally.
And it's, anyone listening to this who's thinking about starting your own business, get ready. I don't care how many investors or how many resources you have. Like, it's, you're still going to hit these speed bumps along the way. And I have to say, though, you're beholden to none, which is beautiful in terms of expectation. You weren't stepping in trying to be the big guy or like these other guys. You were doing your own thing. So creatively, you probably had a lot of freedom, have a lot of freedom. But then again, you're in that little tiny boat that is truly impacted. All the waves from the post-COVID boom, I'm sure hit you hard, even though you probably made some good choices along the way or weren't part of the bust, but it probably hit you hard.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? A lot of people have heard. I mean, it hit the whole outdoor industry and a lot of industries. Bike was hit pretty hard. There's been stories on NPR about it.
Yeah. I mean, in our case, one of the craziest things about the COVID boom was we were about 15 years into running a company that I had poured everything into. And all of a sudden, like, the sales that I just, like, dreamed of were just, like, coming through the door and more. I mean, it was like a dam crashed open, and I was so excited. Like, in a lot of ways, it was like a dream come true moment when that demand just flew off the handle.
Those COVID checks. And all people could do is be outdoors.
Totally. I mean, it was exceptional and it was so exciting. And I think, every brand did it a little differently, but we had like already such a wonderful way of connecting with our customer community. And so we just like jumped in and we started something called the Social Distance Cycling Club. And just like, we just fucking went, and it was amazing. And so, of course, you start selling more stuff. We hired because demand was so high. And when you scale quickly in a business, chaos ensues. And the chaos is super exciting and thrilling, but we started to get loose ends. And, everything just started to we got like the wobbles, as we were scaling, and we didn't have like systems in place, and we were hiring quickly, and I had never trained multiple people at once in different disciplines in our company, and it was really demanding and exciting all at once. And so we were just doing our best. We were trying to do it with as much integrity as humanly possible, and we like got a bigger space, and we just we committed. And then all of a sudden, like, somebody turned the fucking faucet off. And then we were there, and we had a team of 11 folks, inclusive of in-house production members, so people who were sewing on, like, in our studio in real time to keep up with production. We were also producing here in Seattle at a local factory. And then we had the more other specialized roles like forecasters and product developers and a marketing team and a sales team. And all of a sudden I couldn't pay them. I couldn't pay people, and cash was just drying up, and, everybody was looking to me for their income, and we had such an exceptional team. Like, no joke, every member of the team was so exceptional. And I think I just kept saying, like, okay, we're just going to retool slowly and keep this thing alive. It's going to turn around. And we clung to it for a really, really long time. And so then, like, one round of layoffs, and then like half a year later, another round of layoffs. And my team, they were just doing such fucking good work, and it wasn't pushing the needle. And it was so demoralizing, and it was a hellscape. It really was. It was like such an awful chapter. And I woke up one day, I guess about 2 years ago now, in the middle of the night, and I like literally gasped for air, and I was like, I need to like start this thing from scratch. Like, I need to strip every single thing back, and if it's mission critical, we put it back in. And I went to our head of operations, and I was like, I know what I got to do, and it's gonna fucking suck. And while I would love to justify keeping every single role here, yours is actually the only role that is mission critical. Are you going to do this with me? And she was nuts enough to say yes. And then it was just like the harrowing experience of laying off some of the coolest and most talented people I've ever worked with.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening have a similar story, and I can relate to that. And I tell you, it makes me feel a little less crazy and a little less lonely knowing that, the decisions that I made and the hardships that I put myself through, were unfortunately the right thing for me and the business, and albeit hard for others.
Yeah. It's I think it's like so important. I am like a real fan of small business groups because it can feel so isolating to carry so much of this and all of the decision making on your own. And I think that we need to be kind of talking to each other more. Like, it's so all consuming, and it's so hard not to feel that responsibility and the burden singularly, just to take it all on your own shoulders.
Do you think that women run businesses differently and process entrepreneurship differently?
Yeah, I think like overarchingly, that's what I see. I see, and sometimes I also like really envy some of my male peers, like really be able to take just like a very analytical standpoint, step back and just like do what's got to get done to change the numbers and the circumstances. And generally speaking, I feel like I see the women in my life running businesses a lot from heart. And there are some who are absolutely analytically super, super savvy. It's not like one or the other, but I do think so.
That's interesting, and especially being a woman in a male dominated industry, and then just, also being in that position as a business owner.
Yeah, I think a lot about like, okay, so we were talking about like a maternal instinct or an instinct to care and be a provider in like that really caring, nurturing way. Like, I think for me, it was really, really challenging. I was ready to put my own health and well-being way behind the health and well-being of most of the people on my team, because that I felt that was my responsibility. And in some ways I'm like hella proud of that. And in other ways I really question it, right? Like came from a place of a lot of generosity and support. And also like as women, I think we're taught to be those nurturers without thinking of ourselves first. And that feels complicated.
Yeah, I did that for a lot of years. And, people kept telling me, you got to put your mask on first, and I wasn't listening, and it caught up to me. I spent some time talking to therapists, and I got on some antidepressants for a while too, and there were
Ditto.
a lot of tears, and I think I hibernated for a while too because I had some shame, so, and it's like it's stuff that I feel like you never hear guys talking about this shit.
No. Yes.
I hear you. There are some. I absolutely have had some really beautiful conversations with men that have gone through similar experiences, and they process it through a similar lens. But it's different.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah, it feels different for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was really eloquent and vulnerable. What was the first? I guess you kind of spoke to it, but the first. This category needs a shake-up moment for you. Did you have you ever worn spandex? Were you ever part of that culture?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm in all of them.
Oh, fun.
Like I love all the clubs.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like me. You wear many hats.
So many.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so the moment that I knew that there needed to be a shakeup was like literally when I entered the bike space, just as like a general commuter. I knew, like, I walked into a bike shop in my college town and I needed something done on my bike, and I interpreted this person's, the customer service person's tone as like super patronizing, and I was just like, fuck this. I don't want to be talked to like this. And so I learned how to work on my own bike. That was like the way that I was going to deal with it. And it just was clear out the gates. Like this wasn't a space that was meant to be for me. Like for whatever reasons, I wasn't going to be taken seriously. And that, nobody should feel that way. That felt like shit. And so it felt immediately clear that like bikes are this incredible tool. They're like so neutral. Somebody in our Instagram feed this week was like, bikes don't judge. Be like bikes.
Oh, I love that. Be like bikes.
Be like bikes. It's so simple, right? So like, we're the humans putting on like all of the things, like you got to be X, Y, and Z to be a cyclist. But like the bikes don't give a shit, y'all. That is the secret. They just exist to be like had fun on or get you to AB wherever you're going. Yeah, so that was like really important. And then even like way before Swift Industries even became like a concept for me, it just felt very clear to me that like bikes were a really clear vehicle to like my own independence and agency. So like I didn't need to rely on anybody to get me away from a party, or, like it was like my escape plan, and I could just totally rely on myself. I don't know, just as a woman moving through the world, this tool opened up so much independence. And I loved it for that. And I felt like that wasn't something that was generally talked about. Like, that's not what the bike industry was talking about. And like, let's go back to the early aughts. Like, we are talking about like roadie culture to the max. Like, yes, it still exists, but like there was very little in between. It was like really performance based. And I was like, oh my God, I just discovered the secret that nobody's talking about bike. And that is that it's just like hella fun and makes transportation like super accessible and is a beautiful way to move through my spaces. And then what do we know about me now? Like, when I'm excited about a thing, I got to share it. So like that's kind of how that all happened.
Have you considered writing a book? Have you written a book?
I have never considered, nor have I ever written a book.
I feel like your energy would carry through on the pages really well, and you sound like you have a pretty incredible story too. Like, I would read it, or at least listen to it on an audiobook.
Yeah, I think audiobook might be it.
Only if you read it. Oh my God, you should read it. I would listen to you on my commute to Seattle. Yeah. So, kind of dovetailing off of what you're talking about here, you had mentioned how, especially actually hearing, your journey with Swift and the tough times, and kind of how you got into bike, what you saw. You said that bikes were kind of like the slowdown machine, and that resonated with me so hard. And, this busy world that we live in today, and just the pace and the distractions and everything, I thought that just really clicked for me. And that's what draws me to being on a bike, being out, slowing down, and you actually are paying attention to your surroundings. Like, there's so many things. Once I finally got on a bike in Seattle and I was riding around town, I saw so many things that I had been passing for years, literally years. It was beautiful.
It's magical.
Yeah. Is that, is for you, or do you find a lot of your customers in your community, are on bikes for, probably a lot of different reasons, but do you find more and more people are gravitating towards bikes because it is like this tool to slow them down?
Yeah, we put out a poll last year and surveyed our customers, and overarchingly, folks responded with an enthusiastic, I ride my bike for my mental well-being. And so I'm going to let that just kind of like be what it is. I'm sure that is a million things for a million people, and it is magnificent in its simplicity. Like, it really does get to be what a person needs in the moment. For me, and I think this will resonate, I do feel like I get on a bike and it's like everything goes from like hyperspeed to just like shh. And it's just this whole different pace. Whether you're a charger or not, like it just is a different space. I think that, like, I'm not a climber, so forgive me, but like I imagine that when you're like out there and you're like on a wall and you're puzzling, like time takes on a whole different meaning and the wheels are turning in a whole different way. I think bikes are like that for me. And so I do feel like it is like this way of just like slowing it all down and getting a lot of space back.
So now I want to talk about Swift's community model. I think a lot of people are struggling with connection and community. And while I have never been a part of your community, I've really looked at it and I've been like, man, that's what I need in my life. Tell me about, and I think a lot of brands are trying to replicate that. I think brands have spent a lot of money to try and replicate that. Can you tell me what's willing to share your secret sauce?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, I think the secret sauce is me and Jason. Like, I mean, not only exclusively us, but it's deeply embedded in our personality. We love sharing space with people so much. Especially Jason is such an incredible events coordinator because he just loves hosting and gathering people. So over the years, we've done so many events. Like I used to joke and say that, Swift is just like, fronting as a bike bag company, but we're actually an events company. Like we really had like a serious problem where like we were just spending so much time on community events. In any case, we've scaled that back just a little bit, but over the years we've done so many fun things, and it's like Stoked Spoke Adventure Series is one thing that carried on for like 8 or 9 years, where we would get folks together. We were like looking at the TED Talks model, and we were like, okay, what would it look like to get people together in the winter months when we're not riding bikes as much, and get folks just to present their routes and do a little Q&A, let folks know like what water access is like, what you got to know before you go, how they packed, that kind of stuff. And we would just crowdsource submissions and do 10 stories an evening. And it was a 3-part series, and we had hundreds of people just jam-packed into the spaces for it. That was so fun. Another great example is Swift Camp Out. That is a project that is alive and well. And will continue forward. And that is like a global call to go bike camping on the summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere on June 21st. I say that because we have become a globally recognized brand. And so we do have folks who go out on their winter solstice ride on June 21st. But it's really just a call to go out and experience bike camping in like a pretty low stakes way. It's like, of course, people can make it a multi-day thing, but we're just saying like, hey, give it a shot. Like go spend one night out, experience what it feels like to pack all of your camping gear on your bike, do it under your own power, go see what you can see. It's like a one night bike packing or backpacking trip. It's, a little bit less logistically complex, feels a little bit more attainable for folks. And folks really rose to the occasion. We have people participate all over the world. And I think this summer, 1,600 campouts happened all over the world. It's so fun to watch, and it creates a real camaraderie within our customer community. It's really, really special.
Wow, that's do you guys host one where you go and it's like the Pacific Northwest community?
Yeah, we have historically had one in Seattle, and this year I just emailed our community saying that I'm not gonna host one. Oops. Because I really want to go to one somewhere else in the world. I've never gotten to do that.
Do you think someone in your community here is going to take the flag and continue on the tradition?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah. There's usually 5 or 6 that leave out of Seattle in some capacity, whether it's couples or friend groups or bike shops. There's definitely going to be something going on up here.
Wow, some lucky community is going to get you out for their, oh golly, where are you going to go? Japan?
Ooh, or yeah, I don't know.
Man, you said worldwide. You can go anywhere. Cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh boy. I think but you're just not telling me. Okay. We've really answered a lot of these questions.
Oh, good.
a lot of founders romanticize that basement era. For folks who have yet to experience that, can you are you willing to share some of the darker moments or some of the less romantic moments of the basement era? Like,
I'm proud of the basement era. I like no shade. This is such a different chapter, and this is our second basement era, Molly. Yeah. It was like when we started and where we are today. And if I can, I would love to paint a picture of how those two are so different.
Well, I was going to say, like, if I could go back and be I literally was in a basement, an office basement, but a building basement. But if I could go back to that time frame with the knowledge I have now and all that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, paint a picture, please.
Yeah. Okay. So round one was 2008 in Georgetown, Seattle, in a punk house, living with about 8 other people. We had a sewing machine in our extra room and a roll of fabric. And we had a WordPress site where we had like literally screenshot the PayPal button and embedded it as an image on our WordPress page. And that's how people purchased our bags. So I would go to like punk shows and leave, like the Alaska Airlines like baggage ticket things, like the identifiers that you put on your bags. I scanned that and I replicated it, and it just had like Swift Industries on it. So then I would go and like put them on bikes outside of punk shows.
You're so creative.
Just like so DIY, let me tell you. So I would like go to a show, and then we'd get like 1 or 2 orders from like Baltimore, or I had been in Philly for a show, and we would get like 1 or 2 orders from Philly, and it was like all so carefree. Like I said, we were babies, So like that's how it started in our basement, and it was exciting and novel and embedded in a social scene that was like, for me, just like really thriving. So that is 2008, and then today in 2006, 2026.
It's crazy. I'm still writing 2025.
What is this?
Yeah.
Where are we? After having arced through having our own production team that at one point was as large as 18 folks, a huge warehouse space, doing all of our own fulfillment, working with multiple domestic factories, handling every single product as it came in the door, growing international distribution, starting to work with key accounts like REI and Evo. Like that whole arc happened in the last 20 years of my career. And like I said, like from the fallout of COVID and having to scratch the company, we redrafted everything. We now work out of our office. It's myself and our head of operations. I wear the sales and marketing hat. She wears the numbers hat and operations. And we work so tightly together. I mean, we are like shoulder to shoulder, just marching in line. And we work out of our office. We work with a couple of contract designers on product development. I have a strong say in all of it. And our product goes to a 3PL now and gets distributed through a 3PL. We have just like gained so much agility. And our revenues are as high as they were as an 18-person team.
Now, okay, so 2026 Martina, can you give 2008 Martina basement Tina? Oh my God, can I call you Tina?
Yeah, you can't. You guys can't. Molly can.
What would 2026 Martina tell 2008 Martina if you could give her advice?
Yeah, fucking buck up and learn business finance. That is actually the only thing. Like when we talk about like being on SSRIs and antidepressants and all of that shit, like, my boogeyman is definitely money management. And I think, like, it's a combination of things. It's like having grown up without any money, having grown up thus without any money education. They don't have to go hand in hand, but certainly in my case they did. And then I think that I have numerical dyslexia. And like, just starting to realize this about myself. I, like, fully disassociate when it comes to numbers.
I'm totally gonna fuck with you now.
Totally. You can fuck with me as much as you want.
It's interesting. When I was going through the hardships, I wouldn't open like financial reports sometimes, or if it was like a tax thing, or I literally, like, I had so much anxiety that, like, I just kind of,
Yeah.
I shut it out because I just thought if I overdid it over here, or if I kind of worked my ass off over here, this would just figure itself out.
100%.
I'm saying that I wasn't being neglectful by any means, but I think I have finite amount of time to put into this business to make this work. And so I put my energy where I thought it was going to make the most difference, but also there was some severe anxiety and, like, other things happening that were keeping me from opening that. And it took me forever to get I've eventually hired a financial advisor, which saved my business. And I learned a lot in that process too.
Yeah. I hear you. Like, I felt like I would wake up in, like, true full tilt panic attacks in the middle of the night, like, just unbearable. Knew that it was because I didn't have an understanding of my finances, and yet could not open up the financial side of the company and look it in the eyes. And I now know my finances so fucking well, and would feel comfortable jumping into any similarly scaled company today and moving through the finances with full literacy. And I'm so fucking proud of that. And it took a lot of time, and it just took like literally facing demons. Like, there's no other way to put it.
Let's talk about where the bike industry is going. E-bikes. Can you just what comes to mind?
I'm really excited about e-bikes. Oh, Molly, I knew you were gonna look at me that way.
I'm not judging. I'm shocked. You seem like such a, I mean, especially your punk rock background and, like, counterculture and, you know, nature, slow down, you know, all that, you know, just, okay, tell me why or what. I mean, I'm not judging.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, okay, number one, I need to tell you all that I don't believe in shitty product. Okay. Right? So, like, I'm not here for cheap ass e-bikes that are going to end up in the landfill. I'm not actually here for any products that have a short lifespan and are shoddily made and are unsafe to ride. There is a lot of that in the e-bike space, but generally in the bike space, right? What I am here for is increased access to agency and mobility, like the things that I find are so empowering about bikes, I think are even more accessible to folks via e-bikes. And I see that in such cool ways. Like, I think about, like, e-assisted motors for folks who have, like, mobility challenges. I think about parents who are looking to alternate commute via cargo bike rather than by car.
Or dog moms who
buy an e-bike for their dog. You know, those kinds of things, for example. Yeah, and, like, I was riding trails out of Ellensburg recently. There was a fucking awful climb to get up to these trails. It's literally called Heart Attack Hill. Or what is it called? Yeah, I mean, something like that, right? You get the gist. It's a very, very hard climb. And I'm like huffing and puffing, feel really good about the progress I'm making very slowly. And then this couple, no joke, in the early 70s, just like grinning so hard, make it up to the top of that climb. And they're like, it feels so good to be out. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, yes, it does. You're right. I'm so glad that we're all out here. Mm-hmm. So,
Well, you stole the follow-up right out of my mouth. I love it. Yeah, no, I think it's beautiful. I think there's a lot of, considerations. There's infrastructure implications and, the etiquette and, the reality of having e-bikes on the streets or sidewalks or trails, whatever. I think there is a bit of literacy that needs to be established and some etiquette. But, I do think it has opened up access. I see people that I would never or who have never been on bikes before that are willing to, get out.
I think it's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for Swift?
What is next for Swift? Great question. So, welcome to the boardroom of Swift Industries.
You are the board.
I'm the everything, except Kelly. Kelly is also the everything, and Jason. But yeah, like what we are hatching right now is like really drumming up and thinking a lot about our 20-year anniversary. It feels like a very huge personal milestone. And truthfully, like that is as far forward as I want to be thinking. We're 2 years out. We are already working on special projects for our 20-year anniversary. If I have my druthers, I want Swift to be like profitable on our 20th anniversary. Like that might sound like a baseline for any company in terms of their wishes.
I don't think people realize how many businesses are not profitable, that are out there, like whether it's Uber or yeah. And yeah. So when you say that, I'm like, that sounds like a very realistic and reasonable goal, but it's not crazy to say that. Some people who don't understand business might be like, duh, aren't you profitable? That's the point of business. But no.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm so fucking proud to say in 2025, we were profitable for the first time since 2019.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like so fucking cool. And holy hell, I'm also tired.
I can't tell you how many times I've said that to people. Like,
how tired you are?
Yeah. I'm actually since selling my business, I'm less tired.
Are you a napper?
No, I'm not a napper, but I'm an 8-hourer. If I don't get my 8 hours, I'm nothing. But I'm not a napper.
Yeah, I'm a both of those things.
Oh, okay.
8 hours and a napper.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm going to call it perimenopause and just go with that and be cool with it.
Well, are we the same age? Did you graduate in 2099?
Yep.
Okay.
Totally.
Cool. Crazy.
Yep.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. I was through the motions.
I was a late bloomer though. I think my doctor, she didn't verify it, but I didn't have my period till I was like 18 or 19. So yeah. I'm like, does that mean my reproductive cycle is delayed? And yeah, so maybe I don't know, maybe I could pop out a little Molly at some point.
Yeah. That's something are you thinking about it? Are you wanting it?
It wasn't until I like to say that I self-actualized at a time like after the business kind of went through shit. I've gone through phases of trying to find my adopted or my birth family and all these different things. And I think I've closed chapters, and found some contentment. And then, I think there was a point somewhere in my like late 20s, I never wanted kids, and I certainly don't want to be pregnant, but if that's part of the journey, I think I realized the whole thing about, having fun and play and joy in your life. I've tried to replicate being a kid. I've learned that having nephews and friends' kids now, that I get to relive things that were so fun that I got too cool for. I get to relive those things with this next generation and see things through a whole new set of eyes. And I understand why that second phase of life can be so much, joy for a lot of people is so much more joyful because they do get to, that's how they find that kid-like joy again.
Yeah.
And I think that there's plenty of people who find that kid-like joy again in their second life, their midlife.
Is that hard to say? That's the sound I make when I get out of my chair.
Totally.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh my God. My hips pop. I've had a knee replacement already,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's go. Let's do this, Molly.
I know,
Let's do
right?
midlife together.
But I feel, I tell people this all the time. I feel so empowered and alive, and like I finally have this big beautiful life figured out, and I feel like I'm just getting started.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
And like slower though.
Yeah, I'm less ambitious. And I'm definitely a lot slower, like out in the outdoors, but also my pace. I'm finding joy. I learned how to bake bread last year, and
Yes.
a lot of slower, boring things.
Yeah. I'm here with you.
Sweet. Okay. So yes, to answer your question, I think for me, I'd like to share somehow, some way. I feel like it would be a waste of my later years to not share the things that I've learned, and I want to experience things in that childlike way again. And I got a little of that from managing teams and having employees. I build community around, like when I was at Evo, building the snow community was a part of, it filled me up. Oh gosh, serving other people fills me up. I'm one of those people. So I'm like, oh, kids, dogs only go so far. I love my dogs and I want more, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So in the immediate future, anything fun? Any little spoilers you could share?
I mean, I just want to tell you all about Luminary, which is the collection that we just launched. So, it's like 2 weeks old.
Oh, it's just a baby. It's in its infancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah. So, Luminary is extremely special to me for 2 reasons. Number one, it is the very first run of bags that we made with our own textile. That is to say, like, we worked directly with a mill to take a fabric that, like the baseline of a fabric that we loved, and we improved on it according to our user needs. And this really marked a pretty amazing threshold for us. It meant that we are now large enough, we can move enough product to actually have a serious conversation with a mill on that level. And it also speaks to 20 years of built experience around what our customers really need from their gear. So that is one thing that is exceptional about, let's just call it 2026, because that fabric rolled out across all models. But in addition, it also allowed us to work with fabric and apply our own print to it. And we worked with this amazing designer, and she heard us out and heard our vision and came to us with what we are calling the Luminary. And it's just this beautiful, almost like Aurora Borealis print that is just these soft, beautiful tones of blues that move across the entire bag like a canvas. And one of the things about being in the bicycle space is that you see a lot of black bags and you don't see a whole lot of deviation in aesthetic. And this has always been a huge dream of ours. And actually at Swift, when we were tiny, we could be a lot more playful around colorways, and it was lower risk. We were making 10 at a time of a thing, and if it didn't pop, it didn't pop. And but now we are a much bigger company, and we work with factories that have much higher minimum order quantities. And we are so proud and excited about everything that Luminary represents for us. We've like made it through really fucking dark times as a company. We're doing so well right now. We are learning so much as we go. Like we're like really in like that deep curiosity acceleration space. I think that's largely because of the program that we're in. It just represents something like really beautiful and steadfast that's happening in our company at the moment.
Wow, I'm so excited. I'm embarrassed. I haven't seen the collection yet, but I can't wait to see it. Now, two thoughts, two questions. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but how many brands are writing on the backs of other people's materials, whether it's apparel brands that are actually just putting screen prints on other people's, blanks, garments,
Yeah.
or there's a lot of bags. Like I'm working with a client where we're just ordering bags, but we're going to take off their logo and put on their logo, kind of a thing.
Yep.
They're not bike bags, I promise.
Yeah. We'll talk later.
But, so for me, knowing what I know about the apparel, garment, bag, accessories industry, that's huge. That's massive. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That is crazy. Now, okay, my second question was, is that a double entendre? Is it like luminary, like, because looms to make the...
No, brilliant though. Seriously.
Oh, okay.
No, it was really just thinking about like, working to be like a light in this space.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
See, I got that part, but I was like, wow, you're pretty clever and creative. I would not be shocked. No. You can have that one.
Thank you.
You're
I'm going to run with that.
Awesome. Okay, so can you talk about what's next for Martina?
Ooh, what's next for me? Geez, I don't know. And I feel really okay with not knowing at the moment. I think we're in this like very lovely, calm moment in life in general. Like, this is like the first summer that I don't even have summer travel plans. And it just feels very like here and now. I want to take art classes. I am totally just like a fucking gym bro right now. I love being at my local gym. I love taking walks with my family and my friends. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to roll with this little moment here. I mean, I'm like as hungry as ever to keep strengthening my company. And I'm like so grateful to be in that place where I have just like a ton of appetite for that because I was super burnt out for a while. And it's a very different place to be in a generative space and not in a fighting for your life space. So yeah, just like really, really enjoying that at the moment.
Wow, that sounds a beautiful place to be.
It's great.
I think every small business owner could only dream of that, being there.
There's like, I feel like I'm supposed to have like this big next chapter reveal. And actually with like how crazy the world is right now, I feel really good about just letting everybody know that I'm just like holding it down and chilling.
Wow. Okay. So I guess if you had any advice for small business owners that might be listening to the episode, what's the one golden nugget that you would share with them?
I mean, same thing I told myself. Essentially, the advice that I would give my 25, 26-year-old is just like, you're running a fucking business. Like, get real with your numbers. And, like, look its viability in the eyes. Like, get really real about it. Because, okay, whatever. I can talk myself out of this statement just a little bit. Like, I could say that sheer determination and a good dose of just optimism got us through. Like, yeah, sure.
It also got me into trouble.
It got me into a fuck ton of trouble, and it got me into a place where I was like literally pretty sick. Mm-hmm. It compromised my well-being.
Same.
And I think that like now I like look at my financials and I know what decisions I have to make now to spare myself feeling sick in half a year. Like, that's the name of the fucking game, you know? And I just couldn't face that. And so, like, try to face that. If you're having a hard time facing that, I highly recommend being gentle with yourself, doing it at a therapeutic dose. Just microdose that financial time. But do it. Please, just do it.
I think I know what the teaser soundbite is going to be.
I can't wait.
Microdose your finances.
Yeah.
Okay. A brand that you think is absolutely slaying it right now, of course, other than your own.
Oh, how to choose, though?
You have to pick one.
Fuck. Can't believe you're doing this to me. A brand that is absolutely slaying
And
right now.
And it doesn't have to be a brand in your space or,
No.
I think President Obama had a really great brand.
What?
President Obama, he had a great brand.
Right. His personal brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like sitting here being like, I could list like the brands that I think are so fun. You're supposed to do one. I feel like a little bit sheepish about this. Okay, so this is the brand that I like look to all the time that I think just fucking killed, like it nailed something. And it's Vans. Yeah. Because like, I don't know if it's like I'm just like aging myself or what, but like we came out of subculture and counterculture. And like I have every ambition not to become mass culture, but to grow subculture. Like that's what I want. And like to almost like make that more appealing and accessible to people. But like I don't know, like there's something from like a brand perspective that like totally freaks me out about Vans. I'm like, it's a mall brand, and still like people who are in counterculture all over the world flag their identities because they wear Vans. And how did they do that?
And they've never felt like a mall brand. For me, I oftentimes abandon brands that get too sold out or too, mainstream. Yet I have 9 pairs of Vans in my closet.
Yeah, what's up with that? Like, I want to know that magic. And I want that to, like, live in my company.
That's cool. Actually, that's a really great example. They have found a way to stay true to their culture and roots while massively, that's an understatement, expanding.
Massively. Yeah. So, like, when I think about, like, who our dream customer is, it's, like, everybody who has ever ridden a bike wearing their Vans. Like, I don't even care if that's to, like, the corner store or whether that's to ride trail, like a total nut job, just wearing whatever, their slip-ons. Like, if you love a bike and you love Vans, I want you to be our customer.
I love that. I was afraid that you were going to be too cool, and I want to be cool enough to be your customer, to hang out. And I feel way better now.
It's really easy.
It's funny though, because brands especially that have such a kind of insular, like very niche community. I think I write these narratives in my own head. Everybody does, right? And I'm not in the core bike community, even though I've worked with bike brands, and I've even worked with brands that you've worked with, and all that, and we know people in common. But it's still like, yeah, there's. I think, and we're so used to, because there is a lot of gatekeeping in a lot of industries and spaces. So yeah. Maybe that's just,
What if warm is the new cool? Warm. Like warmth, like really being welcoming, and just like, what if that is like genuinely the new cool?
I think it is. I think we're in a time and an era. I think people are naturally gravitating towards that. I think people are learning the language of vulnerability, and I think because of a lot of the things that have happened in the world in recent years, whether it's COVID or just DEI, inclusivity, people have either had to learn that vernacular or are learning to use language and words and behaviors that don't come natural to them. I think it does for a lot of people. I think you and I are wired that way a little bit, but I do think for a lot of reasons it is coming around.
I hope so.
Yeah,
because it feels really good to be like inclusive and just like generous with your space and energy and enthusiasm. And I don't know.
I believe in the law of attraction. I know it sounds cheesy, and there's the secret and a lot of these, kind of ideas that have been, talked about. But I truly believe that, you set a tone for the people around you. And we're all, I hate the term influencers, but we have influence. And, I do think that it is a time where a lot of people are excited to project that because they're looking for that themselves as well, Other than your own product, of course, what is one piece of gear that you could not live without?
The Diva Cup.
Man, since having an IUD, I do not have a period.
I've heard that.
Wow, I love it. And mine's expiring here soon, or is expired. So I'm afraid to get I'm probably not going to put it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I either am infertile or don't care if I have a kid. So.
Right.
Yeah. Diva Cup. So, oh, man.
Yeah.
It seems messy and like.
It can be a little bit messy.
Okay.
To be totally honest. But like when I think about it, like it's always the thing in like my recommended gear list that I want to put, but I feel like self-conscious of putting into the recommended gear list. Okay. But like it doesn't really generate much waste. I don't know. I just think it's like such a cool contraption.
I love that you shared that. And I feel like that could also go back to the question of brand you think that is slaying it right now. Because Diva Cup, you called it a Diva Cup. That is a brand.
It is a brand.
They're the Kleenex of...
Totally. And I've tried other brands. They got me on Instagram. And for my body, the other shit doesn't work. I'm a Diva Cup enthusiast.
We're going to send this to them. And I think there might be a collaboration in the works. If you had a little zipper pocket for ladies who are overnighting camping that has like a little Sanny, little pouch.
It's great.
If you're listening, Diva Cup. That was a sick answer. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Something you've read or listened to recently or at all that has helped you as a business leader in the recent past?
Oh my gosh. Like this is nonstop. So like my routine is that I get up at about 5 a.m. and read business shit for like almost an hour over a lovely hot cup of coffee, just to get kind of my wheels turning. Recently, it's like, I was just going to be very vague. I'm going to try to be kind of specific.
Well, are you, I like hearing that you have that ritual and you're one of those entrepreneurs that I do have an internal clock. I wake up at 6 no matter what time my alarm is set for, even on the weekends, and it's so annoying. But 5 a.m. so you could hit your ritual business news thing. That's cool. That's, important, because once the workday starts, you're just in the shit. You don't have time for personal development or,
Yeah,
so.
that's how I feel about it. And like, to be clear, I go to bed like so stupid early. Like we're still getting 8 hours of sleep, you and I. Mine's just like shifted in a real way,
Yeah. What, like the New York Times, or do you like?
Yeah, so I listen to e-commerce podcasts.
Nice.
Hammersley Brothers is one that I always get like a little nugget of something out of.
Simon Sinek's, I think it was The Power of Why, was a really, really good one. I think that is now the baseline for anyone going into, developing a product, a brand, or working in marketing, so I always like to recommend that to folks if they haven't, especially new folks getting into business.
Yeah. I mean, I think like for me, the one book that feels like it has synthesized almost everything that's in all the other books is Traction. Have you read it?
I haven't.
I'll send you with a copy. I have two.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a book for you. It's not here. It's in Everett.
Cool.
What's one habit you can point out that you think made you a better CEO in this last year or recent past?
Yeah, I think one thing I'm really good at is asking for help.
That took me a lot of time to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And then like I kind of just like fucking I was like, "Oh, unlock. Let's go." And sometimes I'm not totally sure if it comes out of insecurity, like not fully trusting myself. But more often than not, and there is an element of that, but I think that mostly it's like I don't know what I don't I don't know what I don't know. And
But you know that you don't know.
exactly
What you don't know.
or like there's a very high possibility that I don't know something very important. And so like just getting out there and asking for different perspectives to be able to turn an idea around, see it from a different perspective, that has created so much value time and time again for our company. It's awesome. And it's like it's like the bounty, just to go and have the humility to ask for somebody who knows a lot about a field to come in and be like, "Hey, can I just show you all of my cards?" And get super fucking vulnerable. And usually we come out way stronger as a company. I think that's a little bit of a superpower.
Thank you. That was amazing. I think a lot of people forget to ask for help. I was one of those people as well. And now I'm shameless. I will ask for help. No, I mean, before it's too late, I'd rather ask for help. And you might realize that you actually were on the right track.
Totally. Points of affirmation are still waypoints and really fucking important, especially like I've been running a company for 20 years. I have never run this company. Like where we are in our chapter is wholly, completely different than where we were even 3 years ago. There's certainly like we have built on those skills, but the doors that we're opening now are totally different.
Well, I really am grateful that you were willing to share your story, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds in the next chapter. And thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Molly. It's awesome to have you here. I mean, I bet that all of my buddies who have kids would be like, absolutely not. But
Dude, you're a mom. You're a business mom. You're a dog mom.
I feel very content. I have known for a very long time I'm not having kids by choice.
Can we talk about that? Because
Yeah,
I
totally.
never thought I wanted kids.
Yeah.
And I've been over the last couple of years going through this grieving process, and it's been real. Like I don't, I'm 43, and I don't even know if I'm eligible for the club anymore. And,
Yeah.
it's sad. But I'm trying to convince myself that I will be just fine. And
Yeah.
what was your thinking? Like, was it planetary? You're just like, we can't handle more humans. I'm afraid of being a mom.
I think it was a convergence of a lot of different things. Jason, who is the love of my life and who I've been partnered with for over 20 years, he, early in our relationship, when we brought up kids, he was like, I don't feel the need to be a parent. If it's something that's like really important to you, we can go there. But like, it's not something that I would prioritize if it wasn't to like make you really happy and fulfill something for you. And so that was one thing, right? I kind of like tucked that away, loved the honesty, right? That's how it should be. And then thinking about the planet is a huge thing for us. And not only the planet, but just kind of the social scape and I don't know, all the chaos. There's a lot of really beautiful stuff. I'm not like only feeling the shit stuff, but there's a lot of shit stuff. And it's scary to me, So it's like not exactly the world I want to raise kids in. And then honestly, I just don't even know if a biological clock, the way that some people describe it, really ever kicked in. So, like, I never felt like I was, like, looking at babies and feeling like, oh, my God, I need to experience that. I've had, like, literally in my life 3 times when I've been like, oh, how fascinating would it be to be pregnant? And that's, like, kind of where it ends for me. It's, like, a fascination. It's very objective. I'm like, ooh, my body would grow other people's bones. And, like, that's how I think about it. So, the thing is, like, I'm a very tender, loving person. It's not like I'm, like, not, I don't know. Like, I just don't think, like, being a mom is the thing that, like, drives where I want to put that energy. So, like, all of those things in conjunction, it just, like, never really happened. And then at some point, maybe a decade ago, we just, like, made it, like, we were just like, oh, we're never having kids. And that has been for us really, really great. Like, that's just like not something that we've put any more energy into. I'm also like a very fluid person. Like, I understand that in a couple of years I could feel really differently about decisions that we make all across the board, but we'll take that as it comes. Yeah.
That was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, totally.
In these conversations, I think I get to talk with people that I really feel like I identify with, or I feel some kind of connection to. And, and as we all are, I'm trying to understand, who I am, where I'm at and where I'm going. And hearing those kind of stories, I think, are really powerful as we try to write our own, story and
Yeah.
understand the next chapters.
Yeah.
But I have to say, think about this though. It's like you love your dog. You probably get probably have, what is your prefrontal cortex or whatever, you get like serotonin or something. Isn't there like a chemical?
Like really, really good chems
right.
come through.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
But can you imagine one day is it Mina?
Yeah.
If she could just take herself out to the bathroom and take herself to school and then feed herself and maybe feed you one day? Wouldn't that be cool?
Huh. I gotta
That's like having kids. That's like a human kid, right?
Right, totally. But I think it says something that like that doesn't even occur. Like that musing doesn't even cross my mind, right?
No,
but I see my friends' kids and I see them learning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can totally see, I have like the auntie pride. And I like the wonder of especially childhood is so, so magnificent and healing. Like, I think it's also like an antidote to the real challenges and stresses that we do experience as adults. Like all of that, I think is just so profoundly beautiful. I don't feel personally the need to be the direct parent.
I love that. That's smart, actually.
It's just one way.
It's like the boat thing, you know. You don't want to own a boat, but you want to know people who have boats.
Totally.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
It is. Kids are like the boat thing.
We're comparing kids to boats.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, honey. As I've aged and learned different milestones in my life, I think probably in my mid-20s or maybe early 30s, there was something maybe I read or I was having a conversation. I realized that we have it all fucking wrong. Like, we lose our childlike wonder and that playful kind of essence that I think some people never do, and some people figure it out along the way that, you know, that's where and how you get the most joy out of life. And I look at your brain and I see, you know, at least from the outside, you know, what you guys are encouraging and what you're supporting. You're enabling fun and play in just some of the smallest moments, you know. Yeah.
Oh, it means so much that you pick up on that. Like, sometimes I don't know if that really comes through, but like, we talk a lot about constant curiosity. We're really excited about like capturing and being tuned in to micro moments. And I think you're right. Like, we had that as kids and as young people. And I think like, bikes have just brought me like so much closer to that. Like, whether it's the glee I feel on a descent, snowboarding is similar. Like, sometimes I just like cry for joy when I'm snowboarding.
I giggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of euphoric, right? And unfettered. Like, it's not just, I don't know, it's just really free. You know, that sounds really cheesy, but it is like this very free moment where you're just like floating. And I remember that so much as a kid. And we can totally tap into that. And for me, bikes are a big part of tapping into that. Whether it is just like the feeling of cruising down the street in the afternoon or in the evening and chill vibes, or if it's, you know, riding single track and hauling down a descent, like, there's just so many levels that bikes unlock that for me.